Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you have an amazing day that is unfolding, and we are so excited that you're spending some of today with us. In October, we have been reflecting on unmasking. Some of that's in honor of Halloween that we have in the States here towards the end of October, and during that day, a lot of us will wear masks or put on new roles or put on things deliberately that are not maybe the normal way we show up. And I think it's a great time of year to stop and take a look. And are we perhaps putting masks on in our daily life? Are we hiding on some level? Are we shrinking back from some of our potential, getting lost in a role in a way that we're trying to appear or show up in the world? Because that can happen. We can be hiding even in the public eye. We can be hiding behind an image, behind a way that we are so wanting people to see us. And what happens when we hide, even if it's behind our credentials, it's behind the role, a role that we have. This could be mother, daughter, husband, wife. There can be all different kinds of things that we do. And sometimes we can let that define us and we hide behind that. And what happens when we hide, there's like this barrier that is created between us and the people we can connect more deeply with. So this month we've been reflecting on how can we come out of hiding? How can we unmask our potential just a little bit more, share more of who we are with the world. And I feel like that's the way we can make a positive difference, heart by heart, life by life, really being willing to unmask our potential to more fully share who we are with another and who we are with the world. That's a huge gift that each of us can bring to the table. Each of us can bring forth. Today, we're going to focus on coming out of hiding and growing. How do we grow? How do we awaken some of our potential? How do we step forward powerfully, fully into our potential? And that does mean coming out of hiding in some of those spaces. Perhaps we shrink back a little bit. So I'm going to invite you to be fully present. We can hide in busyness too. So let's take a moment to stop, pause, take a deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth, like through a straw. Really bringing oxygen to every cell of our body. Slowing down just a little bit to become fully present and connected. Those of you who are driving, please stay safe. Keep both hands on the wheel, just inwardly tuning in, eyes open, no texting and driving. Those of you who are able to, though, let's put both feet on the floor and take another breath in through the nose, out through the mouth like through a straw. Wonderful. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, bringing you all in, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Keep breathing. And I invite you to close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. And then the space. As you bring oxygen to every cell in your body, you become fully present. What is it that you need? What is it that will support you, encourage you, empower you to come out of hiding, more fully unmask your potential, be willing to grow and share more of who you are? What is it that you need? And are willing to receive because you have choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? Let's breathe that in. Just notice if when you added the willing to receive, it shifted a little bit. It's good to notice. Receive that information. Come back into the room fully present. Another big breath. Eyes open. Wonderful. And take a moment to write down what was placed on your heart, what it is that you need and are willing to receive. We always start our shows this way for a couple of reasons. One, I want to make sure we're stopping, pausing, and purposely connecting heart to heart, spirit to spirit. So it's a true connection that we can support you, our listener. We're so honored to have you tuning in. And I believe that the reason you tuned in today is because there is something here for you. There's something to support you on your journey. And so by us tuning in, feeling in, we can become aware of what is being placed on our heart. It's so easy to miss if we're always in motion. But if we can remember to stop, pause, and listen, we can be given great insight as to what it is that we need and are willing to receive. So let's write that down so it's not swirling around in you, but you're able to keep it top of mind. Because I want you to receive everything that is here for you. But there is a willingness and a keeping it top of mind that each of us needs to do to be able to do that. So let's keep it top of mind, be actively on the lookout, and in fact, excited by the unexpected way in which that need can be met. Unattached to the how, but open and excited, leaning in with anticipation on how our need will be met. Let's breathe that in. Wonderful. We're going to go around our virtual room here. We have an amazing guest joining us today that is going to share a great insight and wisdom pouring into each and every one of us today. So I hope you're leaning in and excited. But to start our connection, Christine, I would love for you to share when we stopped, paused, and listened for a moment, what was laid on your heart?
So what was laid on my heart was certainty.
Beautiful. So needing and willing to receive certainty. Beautiful. Thank you. We breathe that in, supporting all of us that have a resonance with that we are looking for certainty in one way or another. We are willing to bring that in and to receive it. For myself, I feel excitement and a anticipation as to what is coming forth. As I look ahead through the end of October into November and December, I'm excited about what may be coming. And so what I need is people, just feeling into that is really people coming together that we can lean in with excitement and anticipation, looking ahead and being willing to receive. Listeners, as we get ready to go into our first commercial break, look at this as an opportunity, these 2 minutes carved out just for you. As the beautiful commercials play in the background, sharing tips and information and giving you updates on things we hope you find truly valuable and supportive, it also gives you the opportunity to stop, pause, breathe, and integrate what is being spoken into your heart and spirit. I encourage you to give yourself the gift of these 2 minutes. Resist the urge to run off, cross things off to the to-do list, but instead stay present. Be willing to receive everything that is here for you today. And when we come back, we're going to be digging into this conversation about unmasking our potential, coming out of hiding and shining. We'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Now you don't have to stay linked to your desktop or laptop. Take Voice America on the go and listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
A Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
The Voice America Live Events channel is here now to showcase your corporate, individual, or organization's live event. Visit voiceamerica.com/live events to see all of our past live events and find out more. Whether it's a multi-day conference, special speaker, or single-day event, we've got everything to make your event a success. We can do a few hours or a few days. For more information about taking your event to the next level, call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or email info@voiceamerica.com. Again, that's Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or send us an email to info@voiceamerica.com. Voice America is where you are and where you want to be. Join us around the globe as we broadcast live from some of the most interesting events available. Don't forget to view all our live events, including on-demand access to past events that you may have missed by visiting voiceamerica.com/live events.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you really gave yourself that opportunity to stop, pause, breathe, and integrate. I feel like that actually helps us move further, go deeper, and move forward with purpose. When we stop, pause, breathe, check in, and integrate. That way the steps we're taking are in the right direction and are on purpose. So I'm going to encourage you, especially as the holiday season is coming, to remember to stop, pause, and integrate. You're going to have time throughout our show today. So look forward to those moments, and I encourage you to lean into them. Well, we have been talking about coming out of hiding and unmasking our potential and really growing, really bringing all of who we are forward. And we have an amazing guest. You heard from her in the opening segment, speaking from the heart about certainty, that was laid on her heart. I wanted to take a moment to formally introduce you to her, just in case you didn't get a chance to see her bio. If you want to see her full bio, it is absolutely on the website. You can definitely take a look on our host page and learn all about Christine. But I want to give you some highlights. So Christine Agro is a nationally recognized spiritual teacher, over 20 years of channeling guidance and insights and sharing powerful wisdom. She's the author of multiple books, including the forthcoming book, Awaken and Grow, a practical guide for your spiritual journey. It's going to be releasing on November 6th, so please put that on your calendar, mark that date. And she's absolutely passionate about helping you awaken and grow. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Christine Agro to the show. Welcome!
Thank you, Rebecca. What a lovely welcome. I love that.
You are so welcome. I celebrate you being here. And I know when you're leading up to launching and releasing a book, it's such a busy time. And so I'm very honored that...
It's busy, but it's also like super exciting, right? You know?
Yes. Yes, and I think that's beautiful, and remembering to celebrate. Sometimes we can get so caught up in the doing and the launch, we forget to be excited and celebrate. So I love that you are. I love that you're excited. We're excited to be able to spend some time with you here today and have you share about your book. It's really exciting, listeners, when you get to have a little preview of something coming. You're in the inside scoop here. You get to know before it's coming and lean into that as we talk with Christine. So I'd love to start with why this work of channeling guidance and insights and sharing powerful wisdom. Why is that work personally so important to you?
I think the short answer is that it is really simply that I'm called to do it. And it's kind of interesting because it's been a long time. I've been doing it for almost 20 years, and it's just been the last maybe year and a half, 2 years that I've actually acknowledged that it's a calling.
Wow.
Which is really important. I mean, there's a really important step there to, in that space of honoring it and saying yes, whenever I'm presented with the next step. So in that sense of it being a calling, it's really about helping people step into awareness and the important role that it plays in not only our individual growth, but the growth of the collective.
Yes. And I just want to take a moment and acknowledge, I'm really glad you shared that it's that you're seeing the calling and you're saying yes, kind of whatever may come, whatever that next step is, you said yes. And what a gift to all of us that you're stepping into that calling. You've been stepping into the gifts, but stepping into that calling that is so positive and supportive of all of us. So I thank you for that, and I celebrate it.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. You're such a joy. I adore your energy. It's so lovely.
Aw, well, thank you. I think it's so important to be sharing and celebrating along the way. And those times, and listeners, I want you to think for a moment, those things you've been doing, how you're gifted, what you are doing and bringing forth, look at the calling underneath that and be willing to lean in and say, yes, Christine, you're just modeling that so beautifully. And on the Influencer channel, I feel like we all have this opportunity, those of you who are tuning in, that we all have the opportunity to more fully step into our influence. And I think part of that is saying yes to our calling. So thank you for being an example of that and willing to walk in that so powerfully and so purposely. Truly beautiful.
Thank you. And it's not always easy, right? I mean, sometimes, the things that we're called to do challenge us and take us out of our comfort zone and push us into places that we never thought we would be.
Yes.
So it's I think just for everybody that it's important, it's important to understand that saying yes to that calling oftentimes comes with moving through the fear. And I think we can look at people who are doing it and think, well, it's easy for them. But I think everybody who's doing it has to move through, steps and stages to get to where they are.
Absolutely. And I think we can sometimes, I'd be curious about your opinion on this. Here's my opinion on it, that with fear, I think sometimes we feel like it's bad and we shrink back and hide and act like we're in mortal danger. And typically we're not, that it's just that we haven't been there before. And fear is an emotion. It's not bad. Mm-hmm. It can be an indicator that we're just going somewhere we haven't gone before. And I was watching a video the other day, and it was of one of our events, and the speaker said, how many of you are here because you don't want to grow and you don't want to learn anything? And nobody raised their hand, right? And I thought, isn't that a great question to ask? Because sometimes we stay in the familiar path versus stepping through the fear to grow, to learn new things, and to step forward and really bring our gifts forward. And I'd love to talk about this a little bit because I know one of the things is that you are a clairvoyant. And I can see where becoming a clairvoyant or discovering that about yourself could be expansive, and it could open up sometimes fear or how people can receive that. So I would love for you to share, what is a clairvoyant, and did you go through any of that in discovering that about yourself, claiming it and bringing it forward?
Well, the way I describe being a clairvoyant is that I see things as energy. So it's not about future telling. It's really about looking at what is the energy that people are experiencing, what is it? What are they working on? How is it showing up in their life? What are the lessons they're trying to learn? And then how do they learn them? What do they need to release? What do they do to grow? What do they do to move beyond what it is that they're experiencing? So in terms of my own experience, the fears come up in interesting ways, but not around me owning my clairvoyance.
Okay, good.
And the way
That's beautiful.
Yeah. The way that I've come to understand fear is that it's my spirit's way of double checking. Do you really want to do this? Is this your next step? Because in order to, once we get to a certain level, in order to step more fully into that power and the truth of who we are and the position and if you like influencer, we have to be prepared for it because our life does change, right? Our life does become something else, and at some point we get to the place where it's our choice, and Spirit is saying, "Do you want to do this?" And so for me, that fear is always like a check-in. It's always a place to just stop and say, okay, take a look at it, decide if this is what you want to do, and if it is, say yes and step forward.
So what I'm hearing you say, I love this. So, and I love how you're walking us through it. So when you experience fear, when that comes up, and I like how it wasn't if, it's when. So I appreciated that. When it comes up, that you're using it to stop, pause, kind of look in, lean in, and see, instead of backing away or shying away. And I think that's so powerful, that we can be empowered in choosing to have it be an indicator for you that it's a check-in, and then a confirmation. You decide yes again, or yes, this is what I want to bring forward. Are there any times where you decide, no, I don't think I want to move forward with that, when that check-in comes, that fear? I'm curious.
Well, I've been in this pull to step forward for about 1.5 years now, and I spent about 4 or 5 months saying no, and it just continued. And I just said, okay, show me what it looks like if I don't step in. Show me what it looks like if I do. And I was like, okay, it's definitely much more comfortable, much more expansive, much more fun if I say yes.
Beautiful, but I love how you're able to look at both.
Yeah, but it was, I didn't go gently into this last step because again, I really had the awareness, and Spirit also gave me lots of opportunity to see, like, what I'm going to put in quotes as the downside of this stage that I'm moving into. And they're not they're not bad downsides, but there were certainly, because you're moving into this level of being way more visible. And so not only are you positively touching the people to awaken and grow, but you're also touching the people who are resisting it.
Yes.
And so you have to navigate both sides. Like, we enjoy the side where people welcome us with open arms, but, we might not necessarily enjoy the side where they don't. And I really had to just get to myself to that place where I can recognize that they're both the same. It doesn't, so if somebody is open, like welcoming me, that's great. And if they're resisting me, that's equally as great, because I'm churning something up there as well.
Beautiful. I love that. And when you're called to reach more people, there are going to be feathers that get ruffled. And if we're not ever ruffling a feather, we're probably not being clear in our message, because we're not for everybody, but it all can be used. So I love that.
Yeah. Such an important part that we're not for everybody.
Yeah. And that's okay. I agree. I like it better when they're in alignment and they like me and all of that. It feels better.
Well,
but we accept the other.
I'm not going to say it's more fun, because both sides can be fun. Like it can be interesting to see where people go to when you light them up, because it's not even that you're not for them, because I think you're for them either way. It's just that one group is accepting and the other group, you're lighting up their pictures and whatever they're carrying, and they may go on and find their truth someplace else because of that, or it might loosen up a picture that they get to release. So it's all good. But
I love that, and it's like none of it's wasted. It's all being used, and I think that is so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful. Yeah. And listeners, we're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. I know the time goes so quickly, and I'd love for you to take these 2 minutes to stop, pause, and integrate, really receive what is being spoken into your heart and spirit. Maybe take a moment to think about fear. Are you shrinking back from it, or are you leaning in, seeing what it means to you? What is it? Is it a check-in? Is it an invitation to choose and to move forward and bring more of you forward? And I love is one of the fears, if there is fear that's coming forward, about how people might receive you or your message or your calling. And think about Christine's beautiful insight and response to that. And with that, we'll look forward to talking to you in 2 minutes.
Now you don't have to stay linked to your desktop or laptop. Take Voice America on the go and listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
The Voice America Live Events channel is here now to showcase your corporate, individual, or organization's live event. Visit voiceamerica.com/live events to see all of our past live events and find out more. Whether it's a multi-day conference, special speaker, or single-day event, we've got everything to make your event a success. We can do a few hours or a few days. For more information about taking your event to the next level, call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or email info@voiceamerica.com. Again, that's Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or send us an email to info@voiceamerica.com. Voice America is where you are and where you want to be. Join us around the globe as we broadcast live from some of the most interesting events available. Don't forget to view all our live events, including on-demand access to past events that you may have missed by visiting voiceamerica.com/live events.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you gave yourself that opportunity to stop, pause, integrate what is being spoken into your heart and spirit, reflecting a little bit on fear and seeing if there's an additional layer insight that's being poured into your heart and spirit. One of the things that we like to do on the show is to give you tools that you can put in your toolbox. And so I love the tool of stopping, pausing, and integrate, as you've probably gathered so far in the show. I think that's so powerful. But I also think having ways that you're able to look at fear and kind of lean in versus pull back, which can be our tendency sometimes. So I want to encourage you when you're stopping, pausing, integrating, and perhaps facing fear, because that was something else Christine shared, not if, it was when. When it comes up. What's your response to that? What is your go-to? And I love how her go-to is, let me look at this. And even that it was okay to say no, like Christine, you shared that. You said no for a while. No. And then you leaned in and you said yes, and you asked for the support you needed to empower you to lean in and say yes to those things that are most in alignment with you. I wanted to see what it looks like if it was a yes or a no. And I think that's powerful, and then made your decision based on that. So listeners, thinking about what question can you ask, what will help you say yes or no with clarity instead of continuing to be in a space of uncertainty. And that ties into something that was laid on your heart in the very beginning of our conversation, Christine. It was certainty. Do you mind sharing just a little bit about that, what certainty means to you?
Yeah, I love certainty. So certainty is, it's connected to our crown chakra, or our knowingness, our own divine wisdom. And it's the next step from trust and faith. So when we sit in trust and faith, we have a belief that everything's going to be okay, or that everything's going to work out, or whatever it might be. When we sit in certainty, it's that clear knowingness that we're in alignment and everything's right on track.
And you can feel the energy shift even in that.
Yes,
in that knowing.
Absolutely. It's a really empowered space. It's a really beautiful space.
Love it. Now, I want to make sure we take some time, because I've really been enjoying our conversation today, and I want to give our listeners time to know a little bit about your book that's coming out. So it's called Awaken and Grow, a practical guide for your spiritual journey. It's going to be released, so listeners, again, write this down just in case you missed it before, on November 6th on Amazon. And here's part of why that's such a special day, is on Amazon, we're going to be offering it, right? You're going to be offering it for $1 for the first 24 to 72 hours. So here's an opportunity to add this amazing book to your library for a $1 investment. So I encourage you to write that date down on your calendar and look on Amazon for her amazing book, especially as, Christine, I'm going to have you share a little bit about this book so they get a flavor of it and how this can support them so powerfully and stepping into their potential and really bringing forth those things that they're called to bring forth. So can you share why this book, why this title, and why the time is now?
Well, I'm so excited about it. It's been, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And I've written other books, but this book is the culmination of all of that information over the past 20 years that I've been bringing in by looking at things and working with clients, working with students, working on myself. And I was thinking about it the other day, and the book itself is a spiritual lesson, which I didn't realize when I was writing it. But it basically takes you through our journey of spiritual awakening and helps you understand that process so that as you're going through it, you understand it. Because I think it's really important to understand what our experience is really all about. Just like when I was talking about fear, right? How we can look at fear differently. So we start off the book, the first section is Awaken, and it talks about the process of awakening and what that is like. And then the second section is about growth, and it talks about the way that we grow, because I think a lot of times we think that we're going backwards, but really it's part of our growth. And then the final section is putting it all together. So the book takes you through, in a way, it actually takes you through your spiritual journey as you're reading it. And the other thing is that I really believe that I like reading. I think it's important, but I think for spiritual work, doing is so much more powerful. So not only when you get the book, not only do you get the book, but I've put together an Awaken and Grow bundle of tools to help people step into their awareness. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's been fun to write. I actually wrote it last summer while my son was doing different camps, and I would sit in the car in different locations and wrote this book. And then I put it aside because something didn't feel right, and it took me about 8 months to figure out what wasn't right about it, and then basically rewrote the entire book. But I am really excited about it.
I love it, and I love how you honored that. Like, you took the information, you pulled it together as it came in pieces like that, but then you honored that it wasn't quite right yet, it wasn't quite the time yet, and then felt into, once you had certainty of what needed to be shifted, then you took those steps to do that and to bring it forward. Like, you're just modeling it all so beautifully that we can really learn from that and bring that forward in our lives. And so what I'm hearing you share, and I would love to have you expand on this or add to it, is that this book, Awaken and Grow, is living and interactive, and it takes us on a journey that we get to start to build tools in our life as we're pulling it all together. So awakening, growing, and recognizing growth, because sometimes, like you said, we can misinterpret that, and then how to pull it all together.
Yes. So, if we're talking about awakening, there's different stages that we go through, and I explain what those stages are and what they look like and what our experiences are. And then the same thing with our growth. Like, what does our growth look like? And for example, I have a section where I talk about the spiritual hokey pokey, which is what I called it, because when we're stepping into our awareness, we step on the path and off the path multiple times, right? We're in it and we're so clear and we've got it, and then we step back off and we think we've lost it, but we haven't lost it. We're just taking a step off so that we can recognize when we step back on what the difference is. Because as we're awakening, that's the way that we learn. So the whole end game is to get to a place where you are learning consciously, because when you learn consciously, you don't have to learn through adversity. Like, it's that adversity that creates the drama and the challenge and the angst and the pain in our life, because unconsciously, that's the only way that humans learn. Or the primary way that we learn, right? It's got to be hard. We've got to have something to push against. We have to have something to make us do it differently, right?
Versus having more of an ease and flow in it, which would be nice. Yeah.
Right. So the more we step into that aware space, the more graceful it becomes.
I'm curious, as I heard you describing the book and sharing a little bit about it and some of the steps in awakening. I'm curious, as you put this book together, and we just ask you, and this answer may change depending on the day and time that you're asked, but at this moment in time, is there one part that is just one of your favorite parts that you can't wait for a reader to come across when they lean in and say yes to this book?
That's such a hard question to answer. I mean, the book is full of ahas, and I talk about taking your aha moments and turning them into an aha life, right? So that it's not just these moments, but that you have this total awareness of what your life is all about. And I think if I get excited about, like, uber excited about something with this book, it's the potential to take people to that place, to take them to the place where their awareness of what's going on in their life shifts to such a degree that they just see it all differently.
Mm-hmm. And step into that place of having an aha life. I love that. So going from aha moments to having an aha life. Like, that's a tweetable thing, everybody. Those of you who are on Twitter, let's claim that. I love that. Let's move from aha moments to an aha life. I love it. Really, really powerful. Great. So, as we are looking ahead and we're leaning into the book being released on November 6th, I just want everyone to be able to have that roll off their tongue. November 6th is when this powerful book will be coming forth. Is there a special blessing or hope or something that you want our listeners to be thinking about when they're looking ahead to November 6th to possibly leaning in, maybe an indicator of, yes, this book is calling me and will serve and support me? How will they know?
How will they know? I know radio silence is never a good thing.
No, it's good. You're.
I had to stop to look at it. Sorry. I would say one of two things. One is that they feel like butterflies in their stomach, like that excitement of this is for me. And the other would be the complete revulsion of absolutely, that's not for me.
So there's a strong reaction. It can be that quickening of the spirit, that excitement of leaning in, or a strong that those are both people because to me, that's a living, interactive response. It's not going by neutral. Yeah. That there's this reaction that you're having in your spirit. And I love that. And so, listeners, as you're listening to our conversation today, tune into that and see, is this book for you? Are you feeling that quickening in your spirit? Or are you feeling the other? I want to invite you to stretch and really lean in for $1 and get this powerful information to support you, to expand your toolkit, to be able to awaken and grow and step into the aha life. I just love that aha life, that we can do that powerfully and on purpose. And I think, imagine the powerful impact, the influence we can create in our life and those around us by being willing to step into that space and discover where we start and stop, to awaken and grow. So as we go to our next commercial break here, these 2 minutes, I want to encourage you to stop, pause, and integrate. See what's being spoken into your heart and spirit. Is there a response? And what is it? And what does that response within your spirit mean to you? And when you come back, we're going to have a couple more exciting tips and information to share with you. So make sure to stay tuned, and we'll talk to you in just 2 minutes.
Now you don't have to stay linked to your desktop or laptop. Take Voice America on the go and listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
The Voice America Live Events channel is here now to showcase your corporate, individual, or organization's live event. Visit voiceamerica.com/live events to see all of our past live events and find out more. Whether it's a multi-day conference, special speaker, or single-day event, we've got everything to make your event a success. We can do a few hours or a few days. For more information about taking your event to the next level, call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or email info@voiceamerica.com. Again, that's Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or send us an email to info@voiceamerica.com. Voice America is where you are and where you want to be. Join us around the globe as we broadcast live from some of the most interesting events available. Don't forget to view all our live events, including on-demand access to past events that you may have missed by visiting voiceamerica.com/live events.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you really gave yourself the opportunity to stop, pause, and integrate all of this powerful information and to kind of feel into this living, interactive book, Awaken and Grow, that is coming out and available. You're in the know on November 6th. It'll be available on Amazon. So I'm going to encourage you to lean in and say yes to this powerful, interactive book to support you on your journey. And we wanted to, as we reflect back on the show today, there are a couple more things we wanted to make sure that we talked about. So we're really fully supporting you in coming out of hiding and growing and really stepping forward in all of your potential. And potential is what we want to close on and make sure that we're adding support and tools around it and how perhaps you're looking at potential. So to start the conversation, Christine, I would love for you to share how you look at potential.
So I look at potential as the full power of who we are showing up completely, right? So really stepping up and taking off anything, the cloaks, anything that's hiding us or covering us, and really showing up fully and completely. So that's what I see as our potential.
And to me, that's like a full potential, fully showing up as who we are. And are there things that you find interfere with us stepping into that full potential or fully bringing that forward?
Yeah, I think that, from how I look at it, from, what are we learning, how are we working on it, it really is all part of our spiritual journey. So whether or not we actually step into it, it depends on whether or not we step into awareness, whether or not we step into conscious learning. The more that we do, then the more layers we get to release. And the things that at the bottom, at the core of what we're all working on, which I find really interesting, I can pretty much take any life lesson that somebody's working on, anything that shows up in their life, and boil it down to one of three things, which is learning to validate yourself, learning to stand in your power, and learning to stand in your truth. And those three things show up in our lives in variety of ways. But they're all of those things that happen in our life are happening so that we can learn those three lessons. So I find that really interesting. And I think that that, you know, at the core of us really stepping into who we are, at least initially, are those 3 life lessons.
And just to go through those again, it boils down into value, power, and truth. Did I get that correct?
Self-validation. So being able to validate yourself. So, so I mean, it's sort of like value, but it's more the knowingness that we are whole, that we are powerful, that we are enough. You know, whatever it is, rather than more of a value thing. I take it more of like, you know, the quality of it.
No, I love this. I think that's great. This self-validation, so that we are enough, that knowingness, that has a very different energy feel than value. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you for clarifying that. And then power.
And it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting with self-validation how all the different ways that we have been taught to seek validation from other people. And it's everything from, you know, sometimes when we're young, when we get a cold and we stay home from school, it might be like one of the few times that all of the attention is put on us. And so we learn that as a way of validation. And so as we grow older, then in our, you know, somewhere in our subconscious, we're getting sick and we're looking for validation. When we look for support, sometimes when we feel like we're not supported, really what we're looking for is someone to validate us and tell us that what we're doing is good. Right? So there's all these different ways, like there's different nuances with it. And it's just a fascinating thing to pick apart and take a look at.
I think that's so powerful for us to stop, pause, and think about, because we can get so busy just kind of going along, and these things can be driving us, and we don't even know. We're not even stopping and pausing and you know, pulling back the curtain to see if some of these things are going on and what's at the root of it and why. So I appreciate you sharing about that. And do you have any tips or insights as to how we can pull back that curtain and see what might be driving and ease that a little bit so we can more powerfully step into our potential?
I think there's 2 pieces to this, and one is, you know, definitely to try to see where we seek validation from other people, whether it's approval for our thoughts, approval for our actions, being acknowledged. Like, so we have those things that we can stop and take a look at. But I think more importantly, it's moving into the space where you are simply filling yourself in with the energy of self-validation. And the thing about spiritual work and energy work is that it's super simple. And people are like, oh, that can't work, but it does work. And so if we just stop and we envision filling ourselves in with self-validation every day, you will start to see a shift in the way that you react and respond to people. So it's really kind of a neat space to play with. If I'm applying that to all areas, so if we discover one of these things is kind of getting triggered or driving us, so to speak, this self-validation, being not feeling like we're enough or looking for people to reinforce that we are enough, that by starting to feel that consciously ourselves, that drive eases a little bit. We become more at peace in that area. Is that a correct interpretation? Absolutely. I like that interpretation. Yes. And so what you're doing, so we're taught to shove things down, right? That's we're taught to not, you know, something happens and we shove it down. So what we really want to do is clear that stuff out. So if you're noticing that something triggers you, I see everything as energy, and you want to see it as energy and release it from your space and then fill in with whatever you want to replace it with. So if it's fear, if it's uncertainty, if it's self-doubt, you know, whatever, those are all energies. Release them and fill in with your own highest sense of self, your own highest vibration, your own truth, whatever it is, could be any of those three things: truth, power, self-validation.
Yes. Thank you. And I feel like that puts us in such a place of being empowered that we can then purposely fill that space with something that serves us and helps us step more fully into our potential. So thank you so much for being with us today, for sharing your insight, your wisdom, and tips. We are so excited to announce that your book is coming out so soon, November 6th, in case anyone missed that. Her book, Awaken and Grow, will be released. And listeners, as we get ready to go back out into the world, I want to encourage you to take a moment to stop, pause, and integrate and see what is being spoken into your heart and spirit. And perhaps remember to purposely fill, release what isn't serving, and then purposely fill that space with what is supportive of you. And as we go back out into the world, I want you to remember you are beautifully and wonderfully made on purpose and for a great purpose. So therefore, be willing to share the gift of who you are. Be willing to step forward, bloom where you are planted, and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Influencers Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.